you would, shuffle the deck. You can't hurt them. You can't do anything wrong. Can't mess this up. Don't worry. You can't hurt them. You can be rough. It's fine.
I cannot shuffle very well.
And they're hard to shuffle.
Yeah.
You can do the bridge if you like.
Okay.
You can turn them around.
It's probably big for my hands to do that.
They're a big deck. There's 78 cards in a tarot deck anyway. So they're a bit bigger. You can, like I say, you can turn them around. You can do whatever you like. Nice shirt.
That's good enough.
All right. Take your non-writing hand and cut.
So that would be like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's your birthday?
When is it?
Mm-hmm.
December 26th. You the year?
Nice. No. That's Capricorn.
From what I remember from the birth chart, it was the moon was in Sagittarius. Yeah, the moon was in Sagittarius. Yeah.
Cool. Good to know. Okay. So this card's position represents where you're at currently. Okay. The two of discs or pentacles is change. Okay. So where you're at now is you've been here before, right? So the way that this goes is that you can make the same choices that you made last time you was in this position and go through what you went through last time when you made those decisions. Or you can make a different choice and try something new. Okay? This is indicating harmonious change, and especially since you're seeking counsel, that is what you want to do. You want to do something different. Especially with your physical world, and it almost sounds cheating because, like I say, I heard that you are looking for change. This card is your problem card that you can do something about. If you were about to die, the tarot would tell you, and there was nothing you could do about it, the tarot would tell you you need to find a good box because that's a problem you could deal with. This card is the Eight of Wands, which is swiftness, so it's too much too fast. Okay? It is throwing gasoline on a match. So your problem is, in some instances, you're overthinking everything and you're taking too long to do anything. You're not putting forth any real effort, any real energy. Okay? And in others, you're going way overboard. Okay? So try to balance out your effort, okay, and your energy and what you're putting into things. Going too hard at stuff is making that stuff kind of not go well.
Yeah, that's my problem.
And then you're not having any energy to put forth toward the other things, which need some too.
Yeah.
So just try to balance that out a little bit. Part of why you're having such a trouble with that. This is the distant past. So the devil, which is bondage, trials, and tribulations. It's testing, but it's always shit that we've bound ourselves to. So I'm also going to say that that's probably a relationship where you look at the guy as being sheer evil now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. And so that's saying what I see here. And so then this is recent past, which is the Eight of Swords inverted. So I'd say you just got here. You just got into this. The Seven of Swords is futility, which is all the ways we talk ourselves out of shit. And then if you do that too long, you turn into the Eight of Swords, which is, I think, about where you're at now. Well, just past this. And this is where you are standing in your own way with your mind. Okay? So because of this, okay, number one, you're not putting enough energy into... Okay, so... you're not putting any energy into what you're actually wanting, and as far as a relationship goes, you're not putting in forth any effort there because you feel the hurt and you don't want to go through it again. Yeah, you don't trust yourself to pick the person, and all senseless. Okay, and I'll explain in a minute. But now you're starting to you're actually standing in your own way, so things show up and you will actively stand in your own way.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And that has problems, as you can understand, okay? And if you would chase the things that you wanted, you would have less energy for all that shit you don't need to do, okay? This right here is how you view the world, which is the Hierophant inverted. The Hierophant is the Pope. I mean, you kind of get from the picture, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say there's a twofold thing happening here. One is that your environment right now is sitting with the man, but you're also ignoring, okay? The way that the tarot works is that I've ascribed in my head each one of these symbols meanings. So when I see them, I know what they mean. In Native American tradition, what they would do with their spirit guides is they would say, okay, if I see a fox and he's doing this thing, I know that sign means this. If he's doing this thing, I know this sign means this. And so as they go through their day, they will see these signs that they've given meaning to, and they'll interpret it from the universe, okay? The universe is kicking up all the signs it can to you, and you're not paying attention, okay? You're looking for something, and it's there, and you're just not acknowledging it in the slightest, okay? And I can help you with that too. We'll get there. This is your environment. Your environment, and this really does go to point. Your environment, we have 4 parts of ourselves. We have earth, air, water, fire. Earth is the physical world and the body. Air is the mind. Water is the emotions. And fire is the energy, and as well as spirituality. It does double duty there. The physical world is made up of the other 3, okay? So your emotional state, your mental state, and your energy state is all reflected in your environment. If you want to make a change in your world, sometimes it's easier to make a change mentally or emotionally or with your energy and have that just come through in the world, okay? The world isn't as set in stone as sometimes it seems to be. This is your inner emotion, which is sorrow. Okay, but it's also a thought, okay? See, what you've done is, because you're a Capricorn, and so you're an earth sign, okay? You all are some of the most earthy people. Also, that's the card that represents Capricorn, okay? Because you all love to be bound to shit. Okay, if you don't have some project that is pressing and that you have to do, if you don't have some shit you have to do, you're not happy. That's
how it is for me. Like when I have a job, like I can't sit there and just stand there and have no objective to do anything. Like I have to have something to do. It has to be right here. Do it. Like it can't be just sitting there and just waiting and hoping for anything to get done. I can't do that.
You all are a bit, I don't want to say you have less of a, so I'm a Libra, but I'm a Prince of Cups. I'm the mover of the emotions, actually, in the tarot. I have a lot of subtle emotions that I will feel and express all damn day. You don't so much. You kind of got 3 speeds. You're happy, sad, and pissed.
Pretty much.
Alright? Like, if you're not really in one of those categories, it's weird for you.
Yeah.
Okay? Maybe 4. Sometimes there's ecstasy, but you know, you aren't as emotionally hurt as you think you are, because you have set it up in your mind that you're supposed to be. You're supposed to hurt, and even though you don't, you think you should. Okay? You didn't care as much as you think you did, because it's all in your head. Okay? And your mind is really, by playing these things over and over in your head, and one of the things that we do that warps reality is every time we think of a memory, a bit of the current moment gets imprinted onto that memory, okay? So whenever we're angry and we think of a memory, that memory gets a little angrier, okay? So running these through, you're trying to affect your heart, and you're gonna do it if you keep doing that, but you're standing in your way. Stop it. Okay. Where you're headed without making any changes is debauchery inverted. I think that the 6 is what we're striving for. Okay, the 6 in the the 6 in the suit of swords is science, and it is clear thinking and science. In emotional, which is the cups, the 6 is pleasure. Okay, 7 is debauchery, which is illusionary success, but it's also drug use, sex, anything that would be emotionally false success. Okay, the 5 is disappointment. Okay, we are going to move. All of life is change. Nothing stays the same. Okay, so if you're going to get to happiness, pleasure, which is the center, you're either going to go through disappointment or debauchery. So you're headed there. It's just going to take you a little longer. That's why it's inverted. I think that's with timing right now. Best possible outcome is truce of mind. You just need to, after we learn our lessons on a thing, we should quit thinking about it. We should just move on. And that's basically what you need to do. Just repeating it over and over doesn't help. And it is that simple. One of the things that I will do is literally count things on the ceiling to keep myself from thinking of things, because you are in control of the brain. It's one of the few things that we can't control the emotions so much, but the brain we got it pretty well licked. This is your coming influences, and again, this is a bit delayed. And it's the Princess of Wands. So it's energy and spirituality becoming physical. Okay? You are, because I think what's going to happen here is I'm going to explain a few things to you, and you're going to understand it. And so you're going to get the ability to, or you're going to get a certain amount of control over things. You're going to see how to do it. So it might take a second. As you do, just understand that you created whatever it is. So good or bad or whatever, that's on you, and you can change it because you created it.
Okay.
So I know I went through it pretty quickly. If you have any questions over any of it specifically, we can do that. But a couple of things. Belief is the most powerful thing in the world. Okay, it is literally. Do you know about quantum physics?
Not too much.
Okay. In quantum physics, there is a property. There's what's called a wavicle. Okay, a particle, which is a little piece of matter, acts like a wave. Okay, not a single thing, but a whole bunch of possibilities. Okay, everything behind me that I'm not looking at is what's called superposition. Okay, it's everywhere. The reason that things take the shape that they are is because I decide they do. Okay, because I've looked at it and decided that it does. This table has shape. Because if you remember from science class, nothing actually ever touches each other because of the way molecules work.
Yeah.
We never actually touch the table. It's the electrical signals that make me think that I do. Mm-hmm. Okay? That has a lot of implications that are really weird, okay? It's also what Jesus is preaching, okay? And why he's so mad at his disciples for not understanding, because they just won't believe in whatever it is that they want.
Yeah.
Okay, they won't believe it. So certain things that we do, especially in like ceremonial magic, is to edit our subconscious so that when we generate the world around us, we generate it the way we want to instead of the way that we're programmed to. Another thing is that there are several ways that you can interact with the world, okay? The most basic, and to get you started, because you don't do a whole lot of spiritual work, do you?
Not too much,
No, okay. The easiest way to get started is to go out into the world and look at it like there are two things that exist, you and God, okay? Just you and God. So every person, everything that happens will be God, okay? Go at it with that mindset, and it'll change how things go. Because as you try to interact with God, God will he will respond. He will.
Yeah.
Okay, it does exist. Okay, I promise. And you'll get, the problem with it is that everything is subjective. Okay, there is no objective reality. And so all of the evidence that I could give you is from my personal life, and I can't ever prove it to you with that.
Yeah.
And that's the bitch of it. So you have to do it yourself. But as soon as you try to seek God, he'll show up. There's more to it than that, of course, as you get going. But that's the basic thing, okay? Prayer. Prayer is super important because it enacts a couple of things that, okay, for argument's sake, let's say there are a bunch of angels that God has assigned to you individually that will answer all of your prayers. If you don't ever pray for anything, they ain't doing shit. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you do, then they get to work. You've given them a job. What I do is I pray for shit all damn day. I pray for everything that I want and look at it like either God, well, I look at it like I'm God because I'm God, clearly. Jesus, fuck. But I look at it like my higher version of myself, Jehovah, is deciding with me, the present physical body me, what I need and what I want. And so I pray for everything that I want. It picks the best stuff for me, and then it gives it to me, which is me. Right? Follow that thought? Yeah. Okay. So pray more so that you know what you want. Okay? And use more of your brain time for that.
Instead of stress.
Remember this, okay? The point of life is to live. That's it. We don't have to do shit. We aren't here for any fucking purpose. Nothing like that, okay? I promise you. What it is that God or deity, or however you want to look at it, spirit, has decided that the best way to experiencing, the best way to be is like this. Okay? That right now, me and you, right here, this is the most fun thing to do in the universe. Okay? And that's why we're doing it. Everything else is just to entertain ourselves. That's all you're trying to do is entertain yourself while you're here. Yeah. At one level, God is everything. Okay? You agree with that?
Yeah.
Everything is one thing? Okay. That means that God is equally fulfilled, both when there's life, happiness, and love, as when there's death, destruction, and chaos, because it's everything. Mm-hmm. So, when there's certain aspects of yourself that society would tell you are wrong, but you know you like it, it's fine. God likes it. God likes everything.
See, my thing is, I don't personally believe that, how do I put this? Besides certain things, like that everything that everybody does, like, is a bad thing in that case. Like, let's just say, for example, somebody is like, whatever, gay, whatever the hell. Mm-hmm. Like, as long as they are happy about it, who cares? Like, that's how I feel, like, on certain things like that.
What I'm saying is that fundamentally, if you like stabbing people,
that's bad.
From God's standpoint, it's not. Because God is both sides.
People stab people in the Bible. So.
Right, he likes it. He likes it. That's why Jehovah, or Yahweh in that instance, is so damn feisty.
Pretty much.
That's why I'm Jewish. Is because that's the God I like. Yes, he's quite angry from time to time. He likes those kinds of things sometimes, right? Do you know how much water you should drink a day?
8 cups? I don't know. That's what somebody said.
As often as you're thirsty.
Yeah.
We got this nifty thing inside us that's called thirst that dictates how often we should drink.
I never thought that was real, because I'm like, if you were to drink 8 cups of water a day, you would drown yourself in water.
And some people need 30. Okay, but we have this thing inside us called thirst that regulates this. Okay? You don't need an explanation or reasoning for why you want to do the things you want to do. You don't need an excuse, anything, other than we're here to do whatever the hell we want. So do it. And know that like everything is one thing. Doesn't matter to God. Just want, because it's you, because you're God. That's the trick, right? Is that I can come to you with one of two options, okay? I can either tell you that you're God, because we're all God, and I can show you how to manipulate reality around you, okay? But if, just like those dumbasses in the Bible, you're not able to do that, it's easier to just tell you I'm God and then have you believe in me and me do it for you. It's irritating as all hell, but that'll work too. And that's why we had to do it that way in the Bible. Because those idiots wouldn't. If you had a mustard seed. Oh, so there's my favorite passage in the Bible is Jesus curses this fig tree, and it's in both Matthew and Luke.
Yeah.
And then he tells them that if you had a mustard seed of faith, you could. Okay, it's a weird thing for Jesus to do. Okay, for one, it's out of season. He goes up to this fig tree because he's hungry. It's out of season. There's not supposed to be any figs on it. Okay? He goes up to this tree, not happy with it, curses it. It's a weird thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Jesus, what the hell? Okay. It's because he's making a point to those people that if any one of them wanted to, if they believed that they could save that tree, they could have. That tree died because not one of them had the faith in themselves to save it. It's not on him, it's on them. And he was making that point. Okay? That's why it's my favorite, is because Jesus yelling at his crew is fucking great. But,
yeah, I've read that story a few times in different books, and yeah.
So that's why it's like that, and that's why there's that inconsistency there. It's to draw attention to it, because that's the real point, okay? And it just goes missed by most. But it's like in Psalm, I can't remember where Jesus says it, but in Psalms 86, passage 6, or verse 6, whatever, it says, damn it, I wish I had my Bible. You are gods. Okay, all over the Bible it says it over and over. We're made in God's image. If you look at the Hebrew version, okay, hell, in the English version it says at the beginning that man was made in the image of the gods, plural. Elohim, which is sometimes the word, the name that God is referred to, that is plural. Okay, it's a plural word. It means gods, because there's more than one. Okay, which doesn't really matter. In the other way to deal with the world, there are several gods, and you happen to be one of them. Okay, that's the better way to look at the world. If you think that, because if you go with the world and there's two things, me and God. The other way to look at that is there's two things, God and everything else. Okay, and when you do that, what happens to people usually is they just go crazy, and they forget that everyone around them is a god too. Okay, so sometimes it's easier to see the world as several gods, and we're interacting. Do you have any questions?
No, honestly don't. I've just been sitting here thinking about things. Just weighing some stuff out in my head is all. But no, I don't have any questions.
All right.